Congratulations, graduates of the class of 2019. We are thrilled to be here today to celebrate your graduation, along with all the friends and family, supporters who are here to honor you. We are grateful as well that many of your mentors are here, people who have nurtured you along the way and are now here to celebrate this accomplishment. Commencement comes from the French word beginning, or commencion, and after 4 or 5 or even 6 years, it is understandable that many of you may think of commencement as an ending, as a finish line of sorts. But I would encourage you to think of it as truly another beginning. I had the privilege of speaking with many of this year's graduates in our senior exit interviews both this past fall and spring. And in the course of those conversations, I was regularly moved and humbled to hear many of you speak about the growth and transformation you have experienced, the confidence you have gained to delve deeply into what brings you meaning and purpose. Thus, today constitutes that formal beginning, that day when you take what you have learned, the skills you have honed, and the myriad ways in which you have grown and matured, and head back out into the world to make an impact. Today, you begin a new walk down a new road that will be challenging, but also rich in opportunity and deep in meaning and purpose. It is our sincere hope that we have prepared you well for the journey that awaits you. Record numbers of this class's students are headed to graduate school from the University of South Dakota for law and medicine, physician assistant programs, clinical psychology, physical therapy, to the University of Minnesota, Creighton, the University of Iowa, Perkins Seminary, Garrett Evangelical Seminary, the Institute for World Politics, Oklahoma State University, the University of Wisconsin, the Virginia Commonwealth University. Many of you have secured employment with local, regional, and international firms, from pediatric nursing at Sanford Health to nonprofit mission work with disadvantaged youth in Northern Ireland, to accounting work at I-Bailey, to elementary and secondary school teachers both here in Mitchell and across the state and country. Some of you are starting your own businesses in graphic design and instruction. Others of you have completed your first novel. Some will enter work in insurance, while others are starting families and continuing your military service. Some of you are excited to continue your deep engagement in politics. Others are committed to working at the local level to impact change in the environment, healthcare, and our criminal justice systems. Some of you will return to your home country, equipped to be economists and business leaders with a new frame of reference. And still many of you are sorting through your next steps. But all of you leave more equipped to be continual learners, bold leaders, and engaged citizens. To be intellectually curious in a manner that encourages you to be problem solvers, relationship builders, authentic human beings seeking to better yourself and your world. Congratulations and God's blessings to the class of 2019.
Commencement celebrates the attainment of academic degrees and, more importantly, the knowledge and abilities that we are confident that a degree from Utica West Wesleyan represents. Commencement is also a time of formality and tradition. The costume that the faculty and university As a United Methodist institution, we have committed ourselves to maintaining an educational environment that fosters the development of the whole person, intellectually, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Over the past 134 years, Dakota Wesleyan has integrated our values of learning, leadership, faith, and service into a learning experience, the Wesleyan experience, that transcends classrooms and textbooks. We are confident that wherever your next steps may take you, be it the workplace, graduate school, or mission work in the developing world, you have been fortified with a foundation of knowledge, skills, and dispositions that will enable you to grow and flourish. We also hope you understand that the foundation you have acquired here at Dakota Wesleyan represents only the beginning of a life in which you are called to live out our missional values of learning, leadership, faith, and service. This ceremony commemorates your growth and accomplishments as both students and human beings. And we thank all who are gathered here today with us in recognition of the graduating class of 2019. We will begin the process of conferring degrees with the awarding of an honorary doctorate. It is the right, privilege, and responsibility of colleges and universities to recognize and honor the achievements and service of those whose commitment to their communities and their professions exemplify the Dakota Wesleyan's model of sacrifice or service. These individuals serve as exemplars for our graduates, and they personify the hopes that we hold for the class of 2019. President Novak, the Board of Trustees has authorized you to confer an honorary degree on the following candidates for recognition of notable achievement and service in his field. Bill L. Ferris, Honorary Doctorate of Business Administration.
Bill Ferris has lived his life as a servant leader, devoting himself to his family, his faith, and the many communities he has called home, all while dedicating himself to a professional career in the financial services and banking industry. Bill graduated from Mitchell High School in 1965 and enrolled at Dakota Wesleyan University that fall, after committing to play basketball for former head coach Gordy Fossums. As a Dakota Wesleyan University student, Bill made the Dean's List, was active in Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and taught Sunday school to junior high students at Mitchell's First United Methodist Church. In 1969, Bill graduated from Dakota Wesleyan with a Bachelor of Science degree, accepted a teaching position at De Smet High School, and married Noelle Diane Knight, also a 1969 Dakota Wesleyan University graduate. Bill received his draft notice and enlisted in the U.S. Air Force in the spring of 1970. Upon completion of basic training at Lackland Air Force Base in Bexar County, Texas, Bill was assigned to Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi, Mississippi, where he became a Morse code intercept operator and later an instructor, subsequently earning a master's instruction certification. During his military tenure, Bill was named Airman of the Month, Instructor of the Month, and honored with the Air Force Commendation Medal. He and Noelle also served as youth leaders at a United Methodist Church in Biloxi, Mississippi. Bill's post-military career was wide-ranging. He worked for the Department of Audit for the state of South Dakota and Pierre. He thrived with a 12-year career for George A. Hormel and Company, holding various positions as an account manager of cost and plant controller office manager in Fremont, Nebraska, and La Mirada, California. He then transitioned into the banking sector, where he held positions as Chief Financial Officer and Vice President for Citibank, Senior Vice President Senior Vice President for First Union National Bank, Vice President of Financial Products and Services for AARP Services Incorporated, and finally, Manager of Wachovia, later acquired by Wells Fargo and Company. He retired in 2010. Bill earned a Master of Business Administration degree from the University of Southern Mississippi and is a graduate of Wharton Advanced Management Program from the University of Pennsylvania. During Bill's professional career, he volunteered and played an active role for a variety of organizations, including Habitat for Humanity, the United Way, Rotary Club, Salvation Army, and the United Methodist Church. He served as a member with distinction on the Dakota Wesleyan University Board of Trustees and was named a Life Trustee in 2017. Bill was the recipient of the Dakota Wesleyan Outstanding Young Alumni Award in 1980. Bill's mentorship and leadership can be credited with helping several major financial industries succeed in South Dakota and across the nation. His mentees, one of whom is now Miles Beacom, president of First Premier Bank Park, Brevard. Bill was remarkably good at mentoring people and developing them into effective leaders. Aside from all his accomplishments in the financial services sector, his greatest contribution were to the people he invested in each and every day, developing them into leaders more effective than even he was. He was a person who demanded accountability while simultaneously giving breathing space for learning. He was always about ensuring the organization was doing the right thing for its employees and the customers and communities that the organization served. Another mentor remarked, "Our success as a financial institution was in large part due to the leadership of Bill Ferris." Bill and Noel have long supported Dakota Wesleyan University through gifts to the Christian Family Athletic Center, the McGovern Library, the DW Avera Sports and Wellness Complex, endowed scholarships, the Wesleyan Fund, and the President's Circle. They have received the Scotchman, Tumbleweed, and President's Award for Sacrifice or Service for their cumulative giving to the university. When asked about his connection to Dakota Wesleyan, Bill said, "I feel very indebted to Dakota Wesleyan for my education and for the faculty and community who positively influenced my life's direction." Bill and Noel have two daughters who have joined us today along with their families, Nicole and Carrie. Bill, you have served your country and community by living a life of sacrifice and service. In recognition of your contributions and work, it is our great privilege to present you with an honorary Doctor of Business Administration. Could you please stand?
Thank you, President Novak and the Dakota Wesleyan University Board of Trustees for this honor. I'm excited, very proud, and humbled to be receiving this award and recognition. If pride is a sin, and I'm in deep trouble, because I am so proud of this university for what it has done for countless students, for me, the city of Mitchell, and the state of South Dakota. I know I didn't understand what a special time my life at Dakota Wesleyan was until many years into my career. But probably the single biggest benefit I received from Port Wesleyan was in the people I met and the experiences I had in and out of the classroom during my 4 years here. I didn't realize how well prepared I was for the steps in my life as I left Port Wesleyan. And I'm very much appreciative of what Port Wesleyan did to prepare me. After being informed of this award, I began thinking back to the many stops and many special people Noel and I had encountered during my career in our 50-plus years together. I'm sure there were members of my family that were convinced I could hold a job as we traveled the nation from South Dakota to Mississippi, to Nebraska, to California, back to the Midwest, and on to Florida, the Carolinas, Washington, D.C., finally ending up back in Florida. Well, that's a lot of stops. The most amazing part was the incredible people we met. There are countless genuine and caring people spread across this country. And we had the privilege and the benefit of working with and learning from many of them. I hope that we were able to give them a fraction of the support, guidance, and encouragement they gave us. I would like to congratulate the graduates of this year's class of 2019, 50 years later than when I graduated. This is a major achievement, one you should be proud of. It's a special moment in your life. I am confident that you have already encountered some people, as I have, that have helped and supported you all throughout this part of your life adventure. Fortunately, these people support us, they teach us, they pick us up when we fail, and help us in a myriad of ways. Sometimes in ways we don't even realize until years later. They come as special friends, professors, teachers, parents, co-workers, bosses, etc. My request and suggestion to the members of the class of 2019 today is that you thank those people or that person that you come to mind with. I'm not talking about a text message saying thank you, nor am I talking about an email. This doesn't cut it either. Here's what you do. On a sheet of paper with a pen and pencil, write a note, regardless of how bad your penmanship may be. In the note, tell them what they did, how it helped you, and thank them. For some of us, this probably sounds difficult, especially if you aren't used to expressing your feelings. But I know you can do it if you go to Wesleyan University graduates. And for the rest of us who are attending this event, and you maybe thought someone has helped you in the past and you wish you had said thank you, I leave you with this one final thought, one of my favorites. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. Thank you.
The late Senator George McGovern once remarked, "The height of patriotism is not a blind acceptance of official policy, but a love of one's country deep enough to call her to a higher plane." Friends, in the democratic experiment designed to strengthen our common humanity. He has worked on 6 continents in over 40 countries with political figures, emerging adults, and countless political parties to help them understand how to run campaigns, model civic engagement, and to strengthen governmental institutions. A native of Mitchell, South Dakota, and the former paperboy of Senator McGovern, Steve Jardine's recognition as the Teacher of the Year for Harvard's Kennedy School, his class selection as, quote, the most influential class taught at Harvard, and his countless accolades from students who have suggested that it was Professor Jardine's class that fundamentally put me on the trajectory to a sophisticated and successful political career, has left its legacy. Within the McGovern Legacy Museum on our campus, there is a picture with a quote by the late senator that reads, "I still love to go back to Mitchell and wander up and down those streets. It reassures me that there is a place that I know thoroughly, where the roots are deep." Steve, we are honored to welcome you back home, back to Mitchell, to a place where civic engagement is deeply embedded in the ethos of this university's values and its education, where respectful political discourse on difficult issues is not shied away from, but instead embraced, where educating the next generation of servant leaders for our region and our world is indeed our mission. We would like to say to you, Steve, and to your wife, Brenda, who's with you here today, welcome home to Mitchell, and welcome to Dakota Wesleyan University.
Well, good afternoon to President Novak and to the Board of Trustees of Dakota Wesleyan, administrators, faculty, staff, parents, family, and to the 2019 graduates of Dakota Wesleyan University. Congratulations. Give yourself a hand. As President Novak said, I grew up here in Mitchell. I graduated in 1976 from Mitchell High School. And it was a different place. My friend and I don't get here often, but when we come back, it seems like Mitchell changed rather dramatically. It has changed since we were here. And I remember when we were here that there was a depot at one end of the street where they weren't trained, there was no train depot. I think it's still there, but I think you might have been parked there last night on some trains, because I think it's a bar. And there was a restaurant, McDonald's, on that end of Maine, and I used to work with McDonald's when I was growing up. But you look at all the stuff that beat it in corn pounds. My God, it hasn't changed that much. It's wonderful. I like to tell the athletes who play here a little known fact. I have a lot in common with them when Dakota Wesleyan players play their games here. What I have in common is they played and I sat in the stands and watched because I wasn't a very good athlete growing up. But I loved education. I love the power of education. And I was deeply honored tonight, this afternoon rather when I came here, and a gentleman came up and introduced himself to me. I would not have recognized him. Mr. Brody, my 9th grade English teacher, is here, and he came up and told me he was proud of me. And I said, you have no idea, pride works in the reverse. You inspire, you instill in me the importance, not just of mentors or people who can help you and mentor you and move your life, but you show me the power of language. You show me the power that if we take control of our communication, if we take control and understand that the world is ours, if we don't fear it. That was Mr. Brody. I am honored that he was. So I titled this this address today, Creative Giants. Now, I'm going to give you a spoiler alert, which I know you're not supposed to do, to tell the end of the movie before the movie's over, but the spoiler alert is, you guys are giants. Okay? The graduates of Dakota Wesleyan 2019, you are a gift to your hometowns, to your universities, to your states, to your nations, because you are the leaders of tomorrow. Do not underestimate that. Do not think that you don't have capacity, because you do. I don't know any of you, at least I don't think that I do, of the graduates, but I know a lot about you. Okay? I know that you just graduated from a wonderful, wonderful university. I was a public relations director at Dakota Wesleyan in 1981, before I went back to graduate school, and I love it. It's a beautiful school, and it's a stunning school district. And I don't just mean the buildings. I mean what they're doing, what they're instilling in the next generation. As the president said, I teach, not just in Kennedy School of Harvard, I teach around the world, and I've been in a lot of countries now. I teach in leadership, I teach in communication, and I very often tell groups like this, that even though I don't know you, this is what I know about you. You, in this case, graduated from a wonderful, wonderful university. I know that you are the smartest generation in the history of humanity. Do you know that? The smartest generation in the history of humanity. You're the most wired generation in the history of humanity. Yours is the first generation in human history that has a universal language. It's a language of technology. When Brenda and I travel the world and we go to places and speak, there's a place, I do some work in Romania for a charity that Brenda and I work with, and you go into the Transylvanian Alps, okay, and go up, and it's gorgeous, beautiful, but it's isolated. There's no paved roads, there's no heavy machinery. The farmers in the fields literally are using the scythe and they're cutting their crops, and they're loading them on homemade wagons, literally branches cut from trees with leather woven together, and they create a cart to haul their crop. And they're all horse-drawn. And I swear you could go up there and it feels like you're in a time machine. You can look there and you can say, my God, they were doing this 300 years ago. Same thing, same exact thing, with one exception. Every one of those kids driving that horse, pulling that cart, had an iPhone to their ear. Every one. And he went, my God, it's a different world. It's a different world. You have gifts that no generation in the history of humanity has ever had. And so today I want to talk about essentially two stories. The story of you, the leaders of tomorrow, the giants of tomorrow, and I want to talk about the world that I see in 2019 as I travel it and teach in it and work in it. The first story about you isn't just that you're smart and wired and have this language, this ability, this international perspective, this idea that you can do anything. That's a gift. But let me tell you just how smart you are. I don't know how many of you follow. There was something in 1969, there were a group of social scientists in the United States that wanted to determine if they could gauge how quickly human knowledge doubled. Okay, all human knowledge. And back then there wasn't as much, but computers, pharmaceuticals, electronics, all human knowledge. It took them 2 years to do the study, and the findings were pretty stunning, but we had no idea. Because in 1970, what they found was that in 1900, human knowledge doubled about every 100 years. That is, if nothing else really changed or they went on the same trajectory, it would take 100 years for every piece of human knowledge to double. Well, as we know, knowledge isn't static. So as time goes forward, by 1945, knowledge was doubling every 25 years. Okay, still doable, still manageable. Today, it doubles every 12 months. In 5 years, knowledge will double every 12 hours. Now, I don't know what time it is, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That means by 2 o'clock this evening, all the knowledge that humanity has amassed will have doubled. And Monday afternoon at 2 o'clock, 24 hours from now, it will have doubled again. Now, let me put that in context. I tell the story of I grew up here, but even though I graduated from Mitchell, we grew up in a farm outside of Alexandria here in South Dakota, just a few miles down the road. And my dad had a farm, he had a business, but he also had a bad heart, a very bad heart. And in 1958, he had a heart attack. I wasn't born yet. I was born 4 months late. He died when I was 4 months old. But he had a heart attack, and he went to the doctor at used to be I think St. Joe Hospital. I think it's now Vera Hospital, but it was St. Joe Hospital. And the doctor said, his name was John, and he said, "John, I got some tough news." Right? And mom told us the story, of course. I wouldn't have known it. But the doctor said to my dad, said, the next heart attack's going to kill you. Your heart is really damaged. And my dad apparently said, "Oh, do I have an option?" And the doctor said, "Well, yeah, you got an option. It's not a great one. What's the option? We can perform open heart surgery and maybe prolong your life." And my dad said, "Well, what are the odds I'll live?" The doctor said, "About 10%. John said, 10%? Why would I have the surgery? Why isn't it better? And the doctor said, "John, we just don't know how. We don't know enough about the human heart. I think we can do this. I think we can make it better, but John, the odds are not good." So my parents had to face remember they had 6 or 7 rather kids at home, and I was on the way. So they made the only decision possible. If you're going to die 100% of the time, I guess I got to take 10% odds. Well, you know the story. If you have 10% odds, the odds won, and Dad died. Well, fast forward to 1983. My brother Tom was born with the same heart condition as my dad was. In 1983, Tom had a heart issue, went to the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. And the doctor said, "Tom, your heart's not good. You're going to keep having these heart attacks. It's not it's going to catch up to you." But he said, "Tom, we could do surgery." And Tom said, "Well, what are the odds that I survive the surgery?" The doctor said 97%. And I said, "Tom, your heart won't be good. You're going to have a tough life, but we can prolong it with the surgery." So they had the surgery in 1983, and they did prolong it until about 2015. Now, Tom was a guy who played basketball on this court for Mitchell High School and the old Notre Dame at the time. Was a good athlete, but he was told when he was in high school as a teenager he wouldn't see his 20th birthday. His heart was too bad. So in '83, he gets his heart fixed. 3 years ago, a doctor says to Tom, a little over 3 years, almost 4 years ago now, said, "Tom, you're dying. Your heart is dying. You are in trouble." But he said, "Tom, I have no idea how you live this long. No idea. Should have been dead." But he said to Tom, "If you can live 2 more years, maybe 3, they can build you a new heart using your own cells." When Tom told me the story, I got angry. I thought, how would that doctor give my poor brother false hope? 3 weeks ago, science announced they built a human heart using 1 cell from the human body. Wow. I'll give you another example of the world you're entering. I gave a lecture similar to this in India. I do a lot of work in India. I know President Novak has done work in India. And I gave a version of this speech, and I got a call in my hotel room that night. And the caller said, "You don't know me, Professor Jarding, but I'm a genetic engineer here in India. In fact, I'm considered one of the best genetic engineers in the world." And he didn't say it to boast. He said it because it was important. I didn't know how important until we met. But he said, "Professor, you talk about this next generation, you giants, having to believe in yourself enough to take the lead, to look inside yourself and say, what kind of world am I going to leave?" And he said, "You talk about that, but you talk about it with one thing missing: science." He said, "Professor, you have no idea. You have no idea what science is about to unleash in the world." I said, you got me. Can we talk? So he said yes, and we had dinner. And this is an amazing story. I said, "Doctor, you work on, you said you're a genetic engineer. What do you work on?" He said, "Human aging." Said, "How's that coming?" I kind of grinned. He didn't. He said, "It's coming quite well, Professor." And I said, "No, wait a minute. So you're a genetic engineer and you're working on the aging process. In other words, you think you can stop human beings from aging?" He said, "That's right." I said, "How far do you think we are away from that?" This was 2 years ago. He said, 15 years. And I went, whoa. No, wait a minute. You're telling me in 15 years, science will have figured out how to stop the aging process and nobody will get old? He said, "Nobody." And I said, "So nobody will die?" He said, "Oh, no." He said, "People will die. There's accidents, could be wars." But he said, "They won't die because the human body wore out. We are very close to regenerating the human body so every cell in the human body can regenerate at a certain age and just keep regenerating itself, and that person will stay at that age." And I said, "Oh, come on." And I said, "But wait a minute, if that happened, what are we going to do? We have 7.5 billion people on planet Earth now. Science says the planet can handle about 5 billion. By 2083, we're projected to have 10 billion. I said, "My God, doctor, if nobody dies, what are we going to do with all these people?" He said, "Well, that's a problem." And I said, "My God, doctor, what are we going to do with all their waste?" He said, "Well, that's a problem." I said, "What's the ideal age? You said you could stop it at an age. Is there an age you would stop human aging?" He said, "Yeah, there's an age." I said, "What's the age?" He said, 25. Now, I was 58 at the time, and so I thought, well, that's not good news. I've been going downhill a long time. But he said, "No, you don't go downhill that much, but that's about the peak of the human brain." And I said, "I don't want to get crass here, but it's also the peak of kind of human reproduction." He said, "Well, that's a problem." And so I told him the story of my brother, that a doctor had said they could build him a new heart in 3 years. And I said, it made me angry. And he said, "Steve, they pretty much can do it now." And I said, "And you're telling me in 15 years, science will be that advanced?" He said, "Well, it's not quite right." "Oh, so it's more like 50, 100? He said, No. It's not quite right, because, Professor, we can do it now. It's not perfected. Won't get rolled out. But you think of that." And he said, "Professor, you think of that. The next generation is going to deal with that. The next generation has to understand the world that they're inheriting is something we didn't see coming just a few years ago. We didn't see it coming. Now, it could be a wonderful thing. It could be a dangerous thing." He said, "Professor, you're teaching next generation leaders. You teach it young people around the world. They need to understand that this is a different world, unlike anything we've ever seen. And it's not just that. Today, 39% of all jobs in America are automated. 25 years, it'll be 50%. You guys have a wonderful degree. That's going to help you a lot. Because as I said, I don't know any of you, but I know a lot about you. You've got gifts unlike most people in your generation. You had mentors that gave you direction. But you are entering a world that is different. So that's the story of you, and I'm going to come back to it in my conclusion. But now I want to tell you the story of the world in 2019. It's a tough world. Today in the world, Brenda and I were in a conference in Greece, I don't know, 3 years ago or so, and it was all these experts on refugee problems. There were 65 million refugees in the world at the time. The projection from all the experts, there really wasn't any variation on this, was that there would be 1.2 billion refugees in just about 25 years. Wow, 1.2 billion. Now, if you're religious, you say, but in the book of Beatitudes, if someone was hungry, you fed them, and if they were thirsty, you gave them drink, and if they were naked, you clothed them, if they were sick, you healed them. I believe in that. What are we going to do with 1.2 billion people that the world can't take? What's the face of humanity then? It's a different world, creating giants. That's what we need. It's not just that one. You look at the planet. Now, I talk a lot about this. This part of my address is about 7 years old. I've been researching this about 7 years. What is really the state of the health of planet Earth? Well, when you study it, it's not good. Okay? It's not good. In the last 40 years, half of the animals on Earth, so 40 years ago, there were twice as many animals on planet Earth as there are today. It's not a theory, it's a fact. There are 40% less insects on planet Earth today than there were 40 years ago. Not 400 years ago, not 4,000 years ago, not 40,000 years ago. That would be alarming. 40 years ago. If science is right and the planet is warming, and it clearly is, what's that mean? We're about at the 2%. I'm not going to get into all the facts and figures on climate change, but it's happening. It's scary. If science is right, and the UN Council that came out about 3 or 4 weeks ago now, that studied and said if we don't reduce our carbon in half in 10 years and in 25 years reduce it to 0, we got a problem, a big problem. Because we're headed to 4 degrees Celsius, a rise in temperature. Science is pretty uniform on that. Don't believe me, believe the US military, whose leading admiral came to Harvard a couple years ago and said, I've got $1 trillion Navy and my greatest threat is not North Korea, it's not Russia, it's not China, it is that the seas are rising and I have 117 bases and they're going to be underwater. We got to do something about it. But if science is right and it goes to 4 degrees before the end of this century, the estimate is it'll be 150 to 260 feet rise in oceans. Now, 80% of humanity lives within 80 miles of an ocean. Those folks are going to be on the move. I did the prime minister's race in Bangladesh a few years ago, 167 million people. That nation's going to be gone by 2050, at least that's the estimate. Indonesia, 267 million people are going to be gone. Those people are going to be on the move. The point is this. If we're going to solve next generation problems, we need next generation leaders. And normally in a graduation speech like this, and this is where I'll come back to where I started, a speaker says, go out, take on the world, you can do what you want. Well, in 2019, the world is knocking on your door. You're not knocking on its. But that's where I come back to where I started. No generation is better equipped to deal with this. No generation has the capacity. Remember that intelligence. Remember that knowledge. Go get it. You can't tell me the solution to reining in carbon and turning it from a negative to a plus is not in that knowledge. You can't tell me that the ills in humanity are not in that knowledge. The problem is not with knowledge, the problem is the will to go get it. I used to get mad at my generation. We have 3 kids, Brenda and I. Our daughter's here today. Alex, we have twin boys. I'm embarrassed sometimes at the world they're getting. But I'm not as hard on my generation as I used to be, because the simple fact is we didn't see it coming. We didn't see it coming. And go back to the story of my dad when the doctor said, "John, we don't know how to do it." Today, we do. You're the shepherds. I ask you this, graduates of Dakota Wesleyan University in 2019, why is the next great leader of the world not sitting in this room today? There is no reason that one of you, or more than one of you, could be those individuals. It's the world we're in. Horace Mann, the educator, the public school educator initially, a reformer in education, once said, "We should all be afraid to die if we have not done something to better humanity." That's our mission. We need to understand our power, your power. You're our heroes. You're our giants. A favorite of mine is also Dante, the philosopher poet, who you probably know this quote. I love this quote. He was quoted once saying, "The hottest places in all of hell are reserved for those who in times of great moral crisis maintain their neutrality." We are in a time of great moral crisis, ladies and gentlemen, graduates. But nothing that you cannot overcome. You have to change your mindset. You have to understand you have a daunting responsibility to lead in this world. Don't be neutral. Don't be neutral. And finally, I will leave with this quote from another hero of mine, President John F. Kennedy, who in 1961, at arguably the coldest moment or coldest point in the Cold War, when Cuba was about to have a nuclear warhead on an island 90 miles from our coast, President Kennedy, in his inaugural address, said that his was one of the few generations in the history of the world that have been charged with defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger. That young president said, "I do not shrink from that responsibility. I welcome it." Welcome yours. Welcome yours. You, the graduating class of 2019, the smartest, the best equipped, the most wired, the most international generation in the history of humanity. I admonish you. Go make the world a better place so that when you put your head on that pillow for the last time that you breathe air on this planet, you can say that the world is a better place because you walked upon it. Godspeed in your mission. I would not bet against you. Thank you.
always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. May the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.
This time I'd like to invite Ms. Wesleyan 2019, Maria Coonan, to the stage to offer her remarks on behalf of the class of 2019.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I just want to thank you all for being here today as we celebrate the completion of our time at DWU. As graduates, this day is a special one for several reasons. Some are obtaining a degree that allows the beginning of a dream career. Others of us are accomplishing a great stepping stone on our path to more education. Still others have completed a master's degree. Regardless of why or how we came to be sitting here today, it is safe to say that we all made it because of some of the special people sitting in this audience today, a few of who deserve recognition. To our parents, our accomplishments over the past 4 years have been yours as much as ours. Thank you for your unending love and support. Thank you for answering the phone for the 5th call of the day and for never letting us give up on ourselves or our dreams. Thank you for giving us the space to spread our wings and grow, but also for staying close enough to catch us when we fell. I think I can speak for most of us when I say that we don't tell you nearly often enough how much we appreciate the sacrifices that you've made over the years. To our families, they always say you can't pick your family, but we would pick you just the same. Thank you for being our biggest sources of inspiration, our confidants, and our best friends. Thank you for always being there no matter what, even when we really, really wished you would stop pestering and go away. Finally, thank you to our DWU family and the Mitchell community. We're all pitched on the family atmosphere during the admissions process. I, for one, didn't expect it to be quite so true. To our professors, you've molded us into the young professionals and people that we are today. You've been shining examples of professionalism and empathy. You've pushed us until we thought we would break and then pushed a little further. You've become valued mentors, and I, for one, know I'll be back for more of that wisdom along the road. To the DW support staff and everyone I didn't mention, you're what make our time here so special. From Carol and accounts receivable to Jeff, Joe, and Deb, and the many others working tirelessly to keep our campus beautiful, there were so many of you that went out of your way to share smiles, hugs, and joy on a daily basis. You are what makes campus so incredible, and you'll be dearly missed as we continue on our journey. Fellow graduates, today is the ending of an era for us. In true Game of Thrones fashion, although winter isn't coming, thank goodness, the real world is, and it truly is dark and full of terrors. For the past years, we've been fed a steady stream of information and knowledge that will make us successful in our professional lives. However, we've also been taught what it means to practice civic engagement, how to be ethical, and how to make lasting and valuable personal connections with those around us. Honestly, I don't think there's much I could say to you that you haven't heard from our professors and from our parents 100 times throughout our years. So I decided to leave you with the contents of the 5 sticky notes that hang over my desk in the hopes that they help you as much as they've helped me. Number 1, opportunity is missed by most people because it's dressed in overalls and looks like work. Most of us won't start out on our dream career, but wherever you're headed, work so hard that you become irreplaceable. Be the go-to person and look for more responsibility. Go the extra mile and do the jobs no one else wants to do, because no matter where you are, hard work will be noticed and rewarded. It will get you exactly where you want to be. At a recent medical school orientation, one of the doctors made the comment that every day of medical school is an interview for your future, so make them count. And that's going to be true anywhere that we will go. Number 2, stay humble and hustle hard. We all have our own talents and strengths. Recognize your own, but also those of others, and in that way, stay humble. We are all unique, and that's what makes the world go round. With that said, hustle hard, improve every day, and avoid complacency. Number 3, if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. Now, this is only partly true. It is so easy to fall into the trap of settling because of feelings of inadequacy or insecurity. Don't be that person. Surround yourself with people who do believe in you, even during the times when you don't. Tell yourself that you will make it often enough, and eventually you will start to believe it, and those around you will notice. Number 4, never forget where you came from, and never take your eyes off where you're heading. We are all the products of our past, for better or for worse. Most of us have been blessed with a loving home and security. Some of us haven't. No matter what you've gone through, use it as fuel to get to where you want to go. Make goals, take action, and good things will happen. And number 5, this last sticky note is something you've probably heard a time or two around campus, and it speaks for itself. Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as you ever can. And that is what John Wesley said. DW has given us all the tools we need to be great people, to be great professionals, to be great parents, and to be great citizens. Don't settle for less than great, because we all are all capable of all that and more. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you all today, and congratulations on this accomplishment, and good luck in the future.
We will now begin conferring degrees. President Novak, it is my privilege to report to you that the candidates here assembled, having successfully completed programs of study offered by Dakota Wesleyan University and having been recommended by the faculty and Board of Trustees, are qualified in all respects to be awarded appropriate degrees in recognition of their academic accomplishments. Will the candidate for the Associate of Arts degree please stand and proceed to the stage?
By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the University and the State of South Dakota, I do hereby confer upon you an associate degree according to the department in which you have qualified, with all honors, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Heather Lynn Mary. President Novak, I have the privilege of presenting those candidates who, upon completion of all degree requirements, are qualified in all respects for a bachelor's degree. I would ask that the audience hold their applause until all degrees have been conferred. Cassandra Anaye. Ashton Grace Auk. Jessica Ann Backus. Nathaniel Colin Bader, summa cum laude. Bryce Michael Blank, magna cum laude. Jude Morgan Birkinshaw. Kevin Ross Kalsbeek. Nathaniel Joel Serta Werner, summa cum laude. Sybil Elizabeth Kitka. Sierra Marie Crater, summa cum laude. Caitlin Leilani Doherty. Zachary Michael Dewin. Jessica Evelyn Fairmanke. Timmy Lynn Grablander. Brendan Michael Harder. Laura Lynn Hoyton. Catherine Collette Holt. Lillian Carol Jones, summa cum laude. Mason Darrell Jurasic, cum laude. Michaela Marie Kilber. Natalie Ann Kobes. Jessica Marie Kohler. Riker Michael Kreutzfeld. Camberlyn Ann Lamer. Charles Wayne LaRoche. Kaylani Leigh Latham. Jessica Marie Maris. Nicole Lee Nelson, magna cum laude. Carly Lynn Olson, cum laude. Jeremiah David Panic. Rachel Elizabeth Parsons, summa cum laude. Nicholas Stephen Robb. Gavin William Richmouth. Dustin Ray Riedel. Dylan Michael Rourke. Brandon Zachary Sharmer. Tate Mark Schoenfelder, cum laude. Morgan Rachel Selland. Carly Marilyn Severance, magna cum laude. Gemini Jeanette Severson Wesley. John Alexander Sutherland, magna cum laude. Xylon Takata. Megan Marie Travis, cum laude. Madison Remy Van Walligan. Erica May Van Huysen. Lane Alexis Weeman. Eric Avery Waylander, magna cum laude. Tanner Ray Wernsman. Zechariah Vincent Westergaard. Christopher Zachary Wheeler. Trevor Ronald Wheatsema. Hannah Kathleen Willis, cum laude. Charlene Bonita Wipfa. Luke Michael Zyman. Aaron Christopher Amadou. Taylor Nicole Aarons. Michaela Susan Bamberg. Tristan Ray Bartles. Tucker Allen Berg. Tanner Jonathan Bruins. Amber Dawn Budmark, cum laude. Cole Robert Carter. Eric Thomas Chapp, cum laude. Cody Michael Cook. Megan Ann Crago, magna cum laude. Laura Lee Craig, with distinction. Kelly Jean Decker, with distinction. Alan Wayne DeRude, magna cum laude. Haley Nicole Doyle. Amy Joelle Donathan, cum laude. Sydney Christine Eddy, magna cum laude. Brittany Ann Iaker. Brittany Morgan Forsman, summa cum laude. Brooke Matz Forsman, summa cum laude. Nicholas Claire Garofalo, summa cum laude. Landon Allen Gatsky. Geraldine Lord Geist. Amber K. Gillen. Sierra Ray Hagee. Tyrell Doyle Haley. Brady Lee Hicks, summa cum laude. Alyssa Rochelle Hofer, cum laude. Amelia Lynn Honerman, magna cum laude. Kelly Lynn Hull, cum laude. Mary Margaret Holstein, magna cum laude. Alexandria Jana Jacobs, summa cum laude. Autumn LaRae Camerzel. Alyssa Jean Ketchum, cum laude. Kelsey Marie King. Maria Sabalia Kunin, summa cum laude. Alex Elizabeth Kraus, cum laude. Kristen Shell Longville. Trevor Lane Mann. Jordan James Marcourt, cum laude. Madison Storm Matthews, cum laude. Cassidy K. Masnio. Hope Deanne Menning, summa cum laude. Tessa Leanne Meyer, summa cum laude. James Tyler Miller. Gaston Federico Meadith. Taylor Alexis Mao. Samuel James Nas. Landon Reese Negebauer. Wilhelmina Nemo Darkwa. Claudia Marie Nixon, magna cum laude. Margot Noe, summa cum laude. Michaela Eileen Knorr, cum laude. Riley Aaron Ostis, magna cum laude. Jace William Pulse. Austin Michael Quinn. Grace Ann Rickenbach. Arthur Rozoilo Rodriguez, cum laude. Rebecca Joy Skelhaus, with distinction. Bailey James Schriever. Anna Marie Schutte, summa cum laude. Kaylin Colleen Schutte, cum laude. Tracy Lynn Sherman. Madison Joe Slaubaugh. Seth Allen Sosby, magna cum laude. Adriana Holly Sprackle, summa cum laude. Josie Ray Thompson, cum laude. Shelley Marie Tilburg. Kimberly Joe Van Barken, summa cum laude. Robin Marie Weber. Heath Thomas Williams, magna cum laude. Tanya Jean Youngstrom. Jared Matthew Zenz, cum laude. Morgan Ellen Ziegler, magna cum laude. Stephanie Ray Zimmerman.
Will all recipients of the bachelor degree please stand? By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the University and the State of South Dakota, I do hereby confer upon you a bachelor degree according to the department in which you have qualified, with all honors, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Will the recipients of a bachelor's degree please move their tassels from the right to the left of their mortarboards, officially signifying their graduation? And will you please join me in congratulating this year's bachelor degree recipients? You may be seated. Will all the candidates for the master's degree please proceed to the stage as your row is called by the junior marshals. President Novak, I now have the privilege of presenting those candidates whom, upon completion of all degree requirements, are qualified in all respects for the Master's of Arts and Master of Business Administration. I would ask that the audience please hold their applause until all degrees have been conferred. Brooke Ashley Bartosik. Cody Lucas Bonte. Ashton Marie Deety. Tara Lynn Ronke. Catherine Ellen Seavey. Giovanni Zuniga. Chelsea Ann Clay. Kevin Stephen Hatcher. Ryan John Porter. Amy Ann Schlott. Chad Aaron Tipsword. Emmanuel Lee Turner.
Will all candidates for the master's degree please stand? By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and the State of South Dakota, I do hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Arts and Master of Business Administration according to the department in which you have qualified, with all honors, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Please join me in congratulating the 2019 Master Degree recipients. Will the bachelor degree and associate degree recipients also please rise? Ladies and gentlemen, join me in congratulating the graduates of the class of 2019.
It is now my privilege to present the Clark Award for Teaching Excellence. And I'll ask members of the Clark family to join me on stage in a moment, but I won't make you stand up here too long in sort of awkward limbo. The Clark Award for Teaching Excellence is an endowed award established by the Clark family of Mitchell, South Dakota in 1997. It is awarded annually at commencement in recognition of a Dakota Wesleyan University faculty member who has exhibited the following characteristics: excellence in teaching, excellence in serving the needs of students, and excellence in service to the institution and the community. The Clark Award Selection Committee receives nominations from faculty, staff, and students. It reviews those nominations and presents its selection to the Committee on Academic Affairs of the Dakota Wesleyan Board of Trustees. In reviewing the nominations submitted on behalf of this year's recipient, along with past teaching evaluations of this professor's courses, it is clear that this year's recipient is richly deserving of this award. In reviewing students' comments about this professor, two consistent themes emerge. The first theme concerns this professor's commitment to always working to connect the discourse of the classroom to the real world. The second theme concerns creating a learning environment that is genuinely welcoming for all learners. A sampling of student comments regarding the applicability of this professor's course materials to the real world reads as follows. This professor always draws on real-life experiences and examples. The hands-on activities in this course allowed me to apply what we were talking about in class to the real world. I really like how we apply everything we are learning to projects that we are working on in class. This allows me to understand what we are talking about on a practical level. The course material was made relevant and applicable to other aspects of my life. I liked how we would talk about something and then practice it. And the following represent a sampling of student comments regarding the learning environment that this professor creates in his or her classroom. The professor creates a comfortable and positive learning environment. The professor is very open to any question you may have and is willing to help you no matter what the problem may be. The professor has great motivation and the ability to vary teaching methods to keep students engaged. The depth of the course material was just enough to challenge your thinking, but not so deep as to make you turn away. The instructor provided a variety of strategies to encourage learning. Even though the concepts in this class may be abstract, the professor does an amazing job of making them relatable and easy to grasp. Class discussions include all students, whether by volunteering or not. But it is okay to say, "I don't know," as long as you are engaged and trying. This instructor is one of the best teachers that I have ever had in my life. The instructor is very enthusiastic and truly cares about the overall well-being and learning of his or her students. The professor utilizes diverse presentation methods, lectures, PowerPoints, guest speakers, TED Talks, group projects, individual projects, and papers. This instructor's work is a part of what makes Dakota Wesleyan such a great place to learn. The professor was always enthusiastic and knowledgeable about the course. She actually made me want to pay attention and to do well in class. Now I'd like to invite the members of the Clark family, Steve and Whitney Clark, to the stage to present this year's award. In addition to the excellence that this year's recipient demonstrates in teaching and in meeting the needs of students, this individual's accomplishments in the area of service are equally significant and impressive, although this afternoon I will only be able to scratch the surface of this person's accomplishments beyond the classroom. This year's recipient has extensive professional experience in the nonprofit sector, both regionally and internationally, having served on a variety of regional boards, leading the campus initiative as a steering committee member for Presidents United to Solve Hunger, and serving as a widely sought-after consultant. She has founded her own nonprofit and is the architect of the university's nonprofit program. As executive director of the McGovern Center for 5 years, this year's recipient orchestrated the exponential growth of service learning and community-based research opportunities across the university's academic programs, while further nurturing and channeling the university's long-standing commitment to service. She has capably served on and chaired a variety of faculty committees, and most recently, while retaining her role as chair of the nonprofit administration program, she stepped down from her role as executive director of the McGovern Center at my request to take on the role of Director of Special Academic Projects and Initiatives, a new role at the university. In this role, she has built the university's new nonprofit church leadership program that works to provide pastors with the critical knowledge and skills in areas of management, strategic planning, and fundraising, areas that are often absent or underemphasized in traditional seminary training. I have had the pleasure of working with her closely in this new role and have grown even more appreciative of the talents and gifts that she brings to Dakota Wesleyan. I will, however, leave the final words to one of the students who nominated her for this award. Dr. Alicia Vincent is one of the most committed people I have ever met. She is constantly going above and beyond for her students, the university, and the community, and is always doing more. Dr. Vincent engages her students in a fun learning environment and encourages participation from everyone, making her classroom an exciting experience for all. Ever since I stepped foot on this campus, I could see how much Dr. Vincent cared about her students, as well as her willingness to let students lean on her if need be. Looking at Dr. Vincent's dedication to teaching, her students, and to the university, I can think of no one more deserving of this honor than she. Will you please join me in congratulating this year's recipient of the Clark Award for Teaching Excellence, Dr. Alicia Vincent.
Congratulations, we're so proud of you. Well deserved.
This is so unexpected. I don't know if my husband's here, but I asked him last week, you haven't been
asked him to be here. I don't know if he could make it. But
Well, I said, nobody contacted you last week for anything, right? 'Cause I don't want to prepare anything or do anything. No, I haven't been contacted. We have this little bet at home. I say, if he swears to God, then it must be true. So I said, you swear to God, right? And he said, oh, I swear to God. So he's obviously lying, and he's going to pay for it when he gets home tonight. I just am so appreciative so much for this campus. It's been such a blessing to be here, and I'm honored to be in the presence of such great faculty. I've been mentored by some of the best, Dr. Mitchell among them. Thank you so much for inspiring me every day, for all you do, for all the hard work that you put into everything. I'm just always honored and appreciative and inspired by the work that you do. We dedicate so much of our time and our talents and our treasures, and it's just a real privilege to teach alongside you. And to the students, you make my job here awesome. It's been an amazing 5 years already, and every day is a new gift because of all of you. And I echo the words of today's keynote speaker. I do think that you are all giants. You have so much potential to do so many amazing things. You inspire me. I know you'll go out and reach that potential, the potential you're all capable of. For all of you who are all my favorite students, it truly has been a slice of heaven. Thank you.
We also have a special recognition this year for 2 faculty members who are retiring, and I would just ask them to both stand. We have a special celebration for them on our campus tomorrow, but this level of loyalty and commitment, I think, deserves recognition at our graduation. Would Mike Farney, Professor of Physics, Computer Science, Mathematics, and otherwise Renaissance faculty member who has served 40 years at Dakota Wesleyan, please stand. And Dr. Dave Mitchell, who has served 47 years in the business, ethics, and social policy areas, please stand and be recognized for 87 years of combined service to Dakota Wesleyan University. At this time, I would like to invite Thaniel Serta Werner forward to lead the audience in the singing of the Scotchman. You may all please stand. As is our tradition here at Dakota Wesleyan, we sing the first verse and then we hum the second verse, a unique attribute only to Dakota Wesleyan and Mitchell, South Dakota. So when you're all buzzing your lips in that humming sound, you'll be excited to know it only happens here in the world's only Corn Palace. So Thaniel, come forward.
Show me the Scotchman who doesn't love the thistle. Show me the Englishman who doesn't love the rose. Show me the true-hearted son of Old Wesleyan, who doesn't love the spot where the tumbleweed grows.
On behalf of Dakota Wesleyan University, I thank you all for joining us today to celebrate and support the graduates of the class of 2019. As we end our ceremony, please allow all the graduates, faculty to recess before exiting. All graduates will process outside through the doors to the Corn Palace Plaza, where you are welcome to meet them for refreshments. We invite all our parents and those who are here to support our graduates, friends, spouses, to also join and attend. I now invite Reverend Eric Van Meter to the podium for the benediction.
I am stealing the benediction that Bryce used last night at baccalaureate. So if this sounds familiar, it's because I'm thieving from our most recent graduates. Before us it is blessed. Behind us it is blessed. Below us it is blessed. Above us it is blessed. Around us it is blessed as we set out with Christ. Our speech is blessed as we set out for God. With beauty before us, with beauty behind us, with beauty below us, with beauty above us, with beauty around us, we set out for a holy place indeed. Amen. And take care of each other.